You? Running a store? Don't make me choke. Ethan's laughter exploded across the dinner table like a gunshot. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. The roasted chicken suddenly tasted like cardboard as I watched my brother double over, clutching his stomach, tears streaming down his face from laughing so hard. My parents shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Dad cleared his throat. Mom studied her plate like it held the secrets of the universe. Neither of them defended me. Neither of them told Ethan to stop. Marlene wants to open a boutique, I had said just moments before. Those 6 simple words had triggered this humiliation. A boutique, Ethan repeated between gasps, wiping his eyes. With what money? With what experience? You work as a store clerk at that discount place downtown. That's not exactly luxury retail training. My face burned. My hands trembled. I set down my fork carefully, afraid I might throw it at him instead. Sweetheart. Mom finally spoke, her voice gentle but doubtful. Maybe you should think this through more carefully. Starting a business is very risky. Especially for someone with no business sense, Ethan added, still grinning. I stood up, my chair scraping loudly against the floor. I grabbed my notebook, the one filled with sketches, plans, and dreams, and walked out without another word. Outside, the evening air felt cool against my burning cheeks. I walked fast, my vision blurry with angry tears. Then I saw it, a vacant storefront with a "For Lease" sign hanging in the window. I stopped. Something sparked inside my chest, hot and bright and absolutely certain. They would see. They would all see. My name is Marlene Chen, and I'm 27 years old, originally from Portland, Oregon. Before I continue with how I proved everyone wrong, please subscribe to this channel for more fascinating stories like this one. Trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Ethan's mocking laughter. I saw my parents' uncomfortable faces. I felt the weight of being dismissed before I'd even tried. At 2 in the morning, I gave up on sleep. I made coffee and spread my notebook across the kitchen table. If they thought I was unprepared, I would become prepared. If they thought I lacked business sense, I would develop it. I researched until sunrise. I learned about lease agreements, profit margins, inventory management, and target demographics. I studied successful boutiques in Portland and across the country. I analyzed their social media presence, their pricing strategies, their brand identities. By dawn, my notebook had doubled in size with notes and sketches. I drew floor plans. I calculated budgets. I identified my ideal customer. Women aged 25 to 45 who wanted affordable luxury. Women like me who appreciated quality but couldn't afford designer prices. The more I planned, the more real it became. This wasn't just a dream anymore. It was a blueprint. It was a roadmap. It was revenge wrapped in silk and tied with a ribbon. My phone buzzed around 7 in the morning. A text from Ethan. Hope you're not wasting your time again. Some people aren't meant to be entrepreneurs. Accept it. I stared at those words. Then I smiled. A cold, determined smile that felt unfamiliar on my face. I took a screenshot. I would frame it someday right next to my business license. The vacant storefront haunted me. I walked past it every day on my way to work at the discount store where I folded cheap clothes and smiled at customers who treated me like furniture. One Thursday afternoon, I called the number on the lease sign. A gruff voice answered, belonging to a man named Frank who owned the building. We arranged to meet that Saturday. Saturday arrived with rain. I dressed carefully in my best blazer and carried a folder with my research. Frank met me outside the storefront. He was 60-something with gray hair and skeptical eyes. First-time business owner? He asked, unlocking the door. Yes, I admitted. Honesty seemed important. Inside, the space smelled musty. Dust covered everything. But I could see past the neglect. I imagined cream-colored walls, elegant lighting, racks of carefully curated clothing, a vintage mirror in the corner. Rent's $3,500 a month, Frank said, watching my face. My stomach dropped. I'd budgeted for $2,500 maximum. $3,500 was impossible. My savings account held barely $15,000. That's more than I expected, I said carefully, hiding my disappointment. Frank shrugged. Location matters. This street's getting popular. Coffee shop opened next door last month. Foot traffic's increasing. We talked for 20 minutes. I thanked him professionally and left. Outside, rain fell harder. I sat in my car feeling defeated. Maybe Ethan was right. Maybe this was impossible. Then I remembered his laughter. I remember my parents' doubt. I remembered every customer at the discount store who had looked through me like I was invisible. I drove around for an hour, and that's when I saw it. Another for lease sign, different street, smaller space, but perfect. Absolutely perfect. The second location was better anyway. The rent was $2,800, still high, but manageable. The space was smaller, cozier, more intimate. It sat between a coffee shop and a bookstore on a street lined with trees. I called immediately. The landlord was a woman named Patricia, who agreed to meet me the next day. But that night, lying in bed, panic set in. $2,800 monthly rent. Initial inventory costs. Renovations. Marketing. Legal fees. I needed help. I needed someone who understood this world. Monday morning, I took a longer lunch break. I'd researched local boutique owners online, looking for someone who might mentor me. One name kept appearing. Vincent Torres, a retired boutique owner who'd run a successful shop for 30 years before selling it and moving to Portland. I found his email through an old interview article. I wrote him a careful message explaining my situation, my dream, my complete lack of experience. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. He responded within 2 hours. Coffee tomorrow at 10? We met at a small cafe downtown. Vincent was 68, with kind eyes and expensive shoes. I liked him immediately. I told him everything, the dinner table humiliation, my research, my plans, my fears. Vincent listened without interrupting. When I finished, he smiled. Your brother did you a favor, he said.
How?
He gave you fuel. The best businesses are built by people who have something to prove. Let me help you. I left that meeting floating. For the first time since the dinner table disaster, someone believed in me. Someone saw what I saw. Vincent agreed to mentor me, supply chains, marketing strategies, customer psychology, everything I needed to know. But first, I needed capital. And that was going to be the hardest part. Sunday dinner at my parents' house felt like walking into enemy territory. Ethan sat across from me, still wearing that smug expression that made me want to scream. How's the boutique empire going? He asked, passing the bread basket. I'm making progress, I said evenly. Progress.
He laughed. Right.
Let me know when you need someone to help you close it down. I'm good at cutting losses. Mom touched my arm. Honey, have you thought about maybe just starting smaller? Maybe an online store first. I am starting small, I said. One physical location. Dad spoke up. Physical retail is dying. Everyone shops online now. The overhead costs alone will bury you. I wanted to argue. I wanted to show them my research, my business plan, my meetings with Vincent. Instead, I said, I'm looking for investors, actually. The table went quiet. Then Ethan's laughter erupted again. Investors? Marlene, who would invest in you? You fold clothes for minimum wage. You have zero business experience. You think someone's going to hand you money for a half-baked boutique idea? He shook his head. Good luck finding anyone foolish enough to give you a dime. I smiled pleasantly and changed the subject. But internally, I recorded everything. His tone. His words. The way my parents said nothing in my defense. That night, I filled out a small business loan application. My credit was decent. My business plan was solid. Vincent had helped me polish it until it shined. I clicked submit at midnight, my heart pounding. This was real. This was happening. Whether my family believed it or not. 3 weeks of silence. 3 weeks of checking my email obsessively. 3 weeks of working at the discount store, folding clothes, and imagining my own boutique. Then, on a Tuesday morning while I was restocking the clearance section, my phone buzzed. An email from Pacific Coast Credit Union. Loan application approved. I froze. Read it again. Approved. $25,000 approved. I ran to the bathroom and cried. Happy tears. Relieved tears. Victorious tears. I called Patricia, the landlord. I'll take it. I can sign the lease this week.
Wonderful, she said.
Welcome to the neighborhood, Marlene. I called Vincent next. It's happening. I never doubted it, he said. Now the real work begins. I spent that week in a blur. I signed the lease. I opened a business bank account. I registered my business name, Velvet and Steel Boutique. I ordered initial inventory from wholesalers Vincent recommended. I set up a basic website and social media accounts. Each task felt like building a fortress against everyone who doubted me. Saturday night, my phone buzzed. Ethan. A mutual friend had told him about the boutique. So your toy store's real now, his text read. Can't wait to see how long it lasts. 6 months? 3. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Actions would speak louder than any text message ever could. Instead, I screenshot his message and added it to my collection. Someday, these would remind me why I'd fought so hard. Vincent introduced me to 3 people who changed everything. Marcus, a designer with an eye for creating intimate retail spaces. Julia, a social media consultant who understood Instagram better than anyone I'd met. And Sam, a recent college graduate looking for retail experience. We met at a coffee shop to discuss the launch strategy. I spread my sketches across the table, my vision for the store layout, the color palette, the brand identity. Cream walls, gold accents, I explained. Elegant but approachable. Luxury you can touch and afford. Marcus nodded, already sketching improvements. We'll need better lighting. Track lighting here, vintage fixtures there. Make people feel special the moment they walk in. Julia scrolled through comparable boutiques on Instagram. Your aesthetic is good, but we need a story. Why velvet and steel? What does it mean? Velvet is soft, beautiful, traditional femininity, I said. Steel is strength, resilience, toughness. Every woman is both. Julia grinned. That's your launch campaign. We'll do photo shoots highlighting both sides. Soft dresses paired with leather jackets. Delicate jewelry with strong messaging. Women are complex. Your boutique celebrates that. Sam, quiet until now, spoke up. When do we start? Immediately, I said. We worked late into the night, plotting every detail. The grand opening would happen in 6 weeks. 6 weeks to renovate, stock, market, and prepare for what I hoped would be the best revenge imaginable. That night, alone in the empty storefront, I sketched the flagship window display. I imagined Ethan walking past, seeing it, realizing he'd been wrong. I smiled. Problems started immediately. A supplier delayed a major shipment. Half my inventory was stuck somewhere in California with no estimated arrival date. I panicked. Opening day was 3 weeks away. I'd sent invitations. I'd booked a local influencer to cover it. I'd promised Patricia I'd be ready. What do I do? I asked Vincent on the phone. Adapt, he said calmly. What do you have? I looked around the half-empty store. Racks stood bare. Only about 30% of my planned inventory had arrived. Not enough, I said. Then make not enough look intentional. Minimalism is trendy. Curated collections are desirable. You don't have a half-empty store. You have an exclusive, carefully selected boutique. Frame it that way. I hung up and got to work. I rearranged everything. Instead of crowded racks, I displayed fewer items with more space. Each piece became a statement. I added plants, mirrors, and artful empty spaces. Marcus helped me design minimalist signage, curated, not cluttered. The transformation was stunning. What had looked incomplete now looked intentional, sophisticated, high-end. Julia photographed everything for social media. This is actually better than having too much inventory, she said. It looks exclusive. It looks expensive. Sam organized the accessories, creating little vignettes that told stories. A scarf draped over a vintage chair. Jewelry displayed on marble slabs. Handbags positioned like art. 2 days before opening, a local influencer named Brianna visited for a preview. She had 40,000 followers and a reputation for honest reviews. She walked through slowly, touching fabrics, examining details. Finally, she turned to me. This is beautiful. Really beautiful. I'd love to feature your opening. I almost cried with relief. Ethan showed up unannounced 3 days before the grand opening. I was arranging the window display when I heard the door chime. Checking on the competition? Asked, keeping my voice neutral. He looked around, his expression skeptical. Just wanted to see how you're doing. Is this it? It looks kind of empty. It's minimalist, I said. Curated. It's empty, he corrected. Where's all the inventory? Where are the racks of clothes? This place looks like you ran out of money halfway through. I smiled politely. Grand opening is Saturday. You should come.
He laughed.
I'll pass. I don't need to watch this train wreck in person. But hey, I admire the effort. Most people quit after the first failure. You're really committing to yours. He walked around, touching things dismissively. You know what your problem is, Marlene? You think wanting something badly enough makes it happen. But reality doesn't work that way. You need talent. You need connections. You need luck. You have none of those. You're probably right, I said, still smiling. Thanks for stopping by. After he left, Sam emerged from the back room. He's awful. He is, I agreed. Which is why Saturday's going to feel so good. That night, I stayed late, making final adjustments. Every detail mattered. Every piece had to be perfect. This wasn't just a store opening. This was a statement. This was proof. Around midnight, I heard a knock. My stomach dropped. Ethan again, peering through the window. I unlocked the door. Forget something? Just checking in, he said. Making sure you're okay. This is a lot of pressure for someone inexperienced. His false concern made my skin crawl. But I smiled. I'm fine. Really? He left, and I locked the door behind him. 2 more days. 2 more days until everything changed. Opening day arrived with sunshine and nerves. I barely slept. By 6 in the morning, I was at the boutique, checking every detail one last time. Julia had launched our social media campaign at midnight. Marcus had installed the final lighting adjustments. Sam had pressed every piece of clothing, organized every accessory, cleaned every surface until it gleamed. Brianna, the influencer, arrived at 9. She went live on Instagram, showing her followers the store. Her enthusiasm felt genuine. This place is stunning. So elegant but approachable. Every piece tells a story. Her followers flooded the comments with questions. Where was this? When did it open? Could they shop online? Julia managed the social media responses while Sam and I prepared for the official 10 o'clock opening. At 9:45, a line had formed outside. Actual people, waiting to enter my boutique. I felt dizzy with disbelief and joy. Then I saw him. Ethan, walking up the street, hands in his pockets, that familiar smirk on his face. He'd come expecting disaster. He'd come to witness my failure. Instead, he stopped, stared. The line, the window display, the people. At 10 o'clock, I unlocked the door. People streamed in, exclaiming over the displays, touching the fabrics, asking questions. Sam helped customers while I worked the register. Julia captured everything on video. Ethan stood by the door, frozen. His smirk had vanished. His face had gone pale. I caught his eye and smiled. A real smile. A victorious smile. He tried to smile back, but it looked painful. He edged toward the VIP corner, where I'd set up a small lounge area with champagne and macarons. Come here, I called to him sweetly. There's something special I want to show you. The VIP corner was designed specifically for this moment. I'd asked Julia to create a wall of inspiration, photos of successful women entrepreneurs with quotes about perseverance and belief. But the centerpiece was something else. A framed quote I'd written myself. To everyone who said it couldn't be done, watch me. Ethan read it. His jaw tightened. Subtle, he muttered. I thought so, I said cheerfully. Actually, there's a dedication here. Let me show you. I'd created a small plaque. This boutique is dedicated to everyone who ever heard you can't and decided to prove them wrong. Thank you for the motivation. Marlene, Ethan started. Excuse me, a customer interrupted. Is this the owner? I love what you've done here. The whole vibe is perfect. Can I interview you for my blog? The customer was Diane, a local business writer I'd invited. She had a popular blog about Portland's small business scene. Of course, I said, guiding her to the corner where Ethan stood. Diane pulled out her phone. Mind if I take some photos? I love this inspirational wall.
Please do, I said.
She photographed everything, including Ethan standing awkwardly in the background. Are you the owner's partner? She asked him. Brother, he said stiffly. Oh, wonderful. Family support is so important. You must be very proud. Ethan opened his mouth. Closed it.
Yeah.
Very proud. Diane published the article that afternoon with dozens of photos. The boutique's Instagram followers jumped from 200 to 2,000. Orders poured in through our website. Ethan left without saying goodbye. Through the window, I watched him walk away, shoulders hunched, looking smaller somehow. The first week was chaos. Beautiful, exhausting, profitable chaos. We sold 60% of our inventory. Customer reviews flooded in, all positive. Brianna's Instagram feature brought in shoppers from across Portland. Julia tracked everything obsessively. You're trending locally, she announced Wednesday afternoon. Portland's boutique scene is talking about you. 2 other bloggers want interviews. A local news segment wants to feature you as an emerging entrepreneur. I couldn't process it. 1 week ago, this had been an empty storefront. Now it was a functioning business with customers, revenue, and buzz. Vincent stopped by Friday evening after closing. He walked through slowly, examining everything. Well, I asked nervously. He smiled. This is better than my boutique ever was, and I was doing this for 30 years. You have something special here, Marlene. That weekend, my parents finally visited. They'd avoided the grand opening, claiming schedule conflicts. But the news articles and social media attention made ignoring me impossible. They walked in looking uncomfortable. Dad examined the price tags. Mom touched the fabrics carefully, as if afraid to damage anything. This is lovely, Mom said finally. Really lovely. I didn't realize you'd put so much thought into it. I try to tell you, I said quietly. I know, she admitted. We should have listened. Dad remained silent, but I saw him watching the steady stream of customers, watching Sam help someone find the perfect dress, watching the register ring up sale after sale. Ethan hadn't come. He'd texted Mom saying he was sick, but we all knew the truth. He couldn't face what he'd mocked. As my parents left, Dad paused at the door. You proved us wrong. I'm sorry we doubted you. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But it was something. The social media explosion happened overnight. Someone had filmed themselves shopping at my boutique and posted it on TikTok. The video went viral, 500,000 views in 24 hours. Julia burst into the store Tuesday morning, laptop in hand. Marlene, you need to see this. The TikTok video showed a young woman trying on dresses while talking to the camera. I found the cutest boutique in Portland. The owner is this amazing woman who started it from nothing after her family laughed at her. The whole vibe is like finding your confidence in clothing form. Everything's affordable, but looks expensive. I'm obsessed. Comments flooded in. Hundreds of thousands of them. Where is this? I need that address. Road trip to Portland. By Wednesday, I'd gained 15,000 Instagram followers. By Thursday, local news called asking for interviews. By Friday, my boutique had become Portland's newest must-visit destination. Ethan watched it all from social media. He didn't come to the store, didn't call, but I knew he saw everything. His friends tagged him in posts. His coworkers mentioned it. Saturday afternoon, he finally texted, "Congratulations." Maybe I was wrong about some things. I stared at that text. Maybe. Not, I was completely wrong. Not, I apologize for being cruel. Just maybe.
I didn't respond.
He didn't deserve my energy. Instead, I focused on the line of customers wrapping around the block, on the pile of online orders Sam was packaging, on the reporter setting up for my first television interview. Monday morning, my phone rang. My parents.
We're sorry, Mom said.
We really are. We should have supported you from the beginning. Ethan was in the background. Tell her I'm sorry too. I heard the words, but they felt hollow. They were sorry now because I'd succeeded. Would they have been sorry if I'd failed? 2 months after opening, I'd sold out my initial inventory twice. I'd hired 2 more employees. I'd expanded my online presence. And I'd started considering the impossible, a second location. Vincent thought I was ready. You've proven the concept works. You've built a brand. Now scale it. But I hesitated. Opening the first boutique had nearly killed me financially and emotionally. Could I handle 2? My parents visited weekly now, proudly telling their friends about my success. Ethan came once, awkwardly congratulating me, trying to rebuild bridges he'd burned. During one visit, he pulled me aside. I was thinking, maybe I could help with the business side. I'm good with numbers. I have an accountant, I said.
Right.
Of course. He looked uncomfortable. I just wanted to say properly that I was wrong. About everything. You're really talented. Thank you, I said neutrally. So we're good. Were we? He'd humiliated me, dismissed me, mocked me publicly. Now that I'd succeeded despite him, he wanted reconciliation. But he'd never apologized for his cruelty, only for being wrong.
We're fine, I said.
Fine. Not good. Not forgiven. Just fine. The tension between us remained, but I was too busy to care. I'd found a potential second location, a larger space in a trendier neighborhood. At Sunday dinner, I mentioned it casually. I'm expanding. Opening a second boutique in the Pearl District. Ethan frowned. Already? Aren't you moving too fast? You should consolidate first. There it was. The doubt creeping back in. The assumption that I didn't know what I was doing. I've done the analysis, I said calmly. I have the investors. I have the team. I'm ready. I'm just saying, why risk what you've built? He spoke carefully, like talking to a child. Sometimes it's better to protect success than chase expansion. I smiled. Thanks for the advice. I'm doing it anyway. My parents watched our exchange nervously, but they'd learned. They didn't take sides anymore. I signed the lease for the Pearl District location in November. The space was double the size, and the rent was twice as much. My accountant thought I was insane. Vincent thought I was brilliant. Fear makes you cautious, he said. Confidence makes you successful. You have both now. Use them. I threw myself into the expansion. Marcus designed an even more stunning space. Julia planned a launch campaign that would make the first opening look tiny. Sam would manage the original location while I focused on the new one. Ethan heard about it through social media again. He'd posted something vague about family achievements, trying to claim partial credit for my success. His friends called him out in the comments. Didn't you say her boutique would fail? The post disappeared within hours. 2 weeks later, he showed up at the original boutique. Can we talk? We sat in the VIP corner. He looked exhausted. I'm happy for you, he said. Really? But why are you rushing? Opening 2 stores in 6 months seems reckless. It's strategic, I corrected. Different neighborhoods, different demographics, but complementary. The Pearl District location targets a slightly higher price point. It's calculated growth. But what if? What if it fails? I finished. Then I fail. But I'd rather fail trying than never try at all. He flinched. I never said you shouldn't try. I just thought you should be realistic. You laughed at me, I said quietly. At dinner. In front of everyone. You didn't offer constructive criticism. You mocked me. I know. He looked away. I was afraid you'd succeed. That admission hung between us. Honest finally. Ugly but honest. Why? I asked. Because then I'd have to examine my own choices. My own safe, boring job. My own lack of courage. It was easier to mock you than face that. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Not Everyone celebrated my success. A competitor, a boutique owner named Veronica, who'd been established in Portland for 5 years, started spreading rumors. Velvet and steel is just cheap clothes with fancy marketing, she told mutual acquaintances. The owner has no fashion background. It's all smoke and mirrors. The rumors reached me through customers. Julia wanted to respond aggressively on social media. I refused. We respond with transparency, I said. And quality. I posted a video showing my sourcing process, my quality standards, my pricing strategy. I invited customers behind the scenes. I showed them everything, the care, the thought, the integrity behind every decision. The response was overwhelming. Customers defended me in comments. They shared their experiences. They posted photos of clothes they'd bought months ago, still in perfect condition. Veronica's rumors collapsed under the weight of truth. Her own boutique's reviews started suffering as people compared her outdated tactics to my transparent approach. She never apologized, but she stopped spreading lies. Ethan watched this drama unfold. He called one evening. How do you stay so calm? If someone attacked me like that, I'd lose it. Because I know my worth, I said. She doesn't. You've changed, he said. You're tougher now. I've always been tough, I corrected. You just never noticed. After hanging up, I realized something. I didn't need his validation anymore. I didn't need my parents' pride or Veronica's approval or anyone's permission to exist. I'd become the woman I'd always been underneath. The mockery hadn't created her. It had just revealed her. In December, Portland Business Journal named me Emerging Entrepreneur of the Year. The award ceremony was held at a downtown hotel with local business leaders, politicians, and media. I wore a dress from my own boutique, midnight blue, elegant, powerful. Julia, Marcus, and Sam came as my guests. Vincent sat in the front row beaming like a proud father. My parents came too, dressed formally, looking uncomfortable but present. Ethan sat beside them, stone-faced. When they announced my name, the room applauded. I walked to the stage feeling surreal. 6 months ago, I'd been crying in my car, convinced I'd failed before starting. Now I was receiving an award for succeeding beyond my wildest dreams. The presenter handed me a plaque and a microphone. Say a few words. I looked out at the crowd. At Vincent, smiling. At Julia, recording on her phone. At my parents, finally proud. At Ethan, visibly uncomfortable as cameras captured his reaction. 6 months ago, someone I loved told me I couldn't do this. I began. They laughed at my dreams. They dismissed my plans. They were certain I'd fail. The room was silent. I want to thank them, because their doubt became my fuel. Their mockery became my motivation. And their laughter became the sweetest sound when it turned to stunned silence as I succeeded. Applause erupted. People stood. Ethan remained seated, pale. Afterward, reporters asked for interviews. A local TV station wanted to feature my story. 3 different investors approached about expansion opportunities. My parents hugged me.
We're so proud, Mom said.
Ethan muttered, "Congratulations," and left quickly. The next morning, the ceremony footage was everywhere. My quote about turning doubt into fuel had gone viral. People shared it with their own stories of overcoming skeptics. I'd become more than a boutique owner. I'd become a symbol. Christmas dinner at my parents' house felt different. Mom set the table carefully. Dad asked about my business with genuine interest. But Ethan radiated tension. Halfway through dinner, he snapped. Can we talk about something besides Marlene's boutiques? Some of us have accomplishments too. The table went silent. Ethan, Dad started. No, seriously. Every conversation now is about Marlene this, Marlene that. I have a good job. I'm successful too. But nobody cares. We care, Mom said weakly. You didn't care about my promotion last month. You didn't mention my project winning that award. But Marlene opens a store, and suddenly she's the family genius. I set down my fork. You're right. You are successful. You have a stable job, a nice apartment, and a good life. The difference is, you didn't have to fight for recognition. Mom and Dad have always been proud of you.
Always supported you.
I had to build my entire business just to be noticed. That's not fair. Isn't it? I kept my voice calm. When you got your first job, Dad took you to dinner to celebrate. When I got my first job, nobody acknowledged it. When you bought your car, Mom called all her friends. When I saved enough for my car, nobody noticed. You've always been seen. I had to create something extraordinary just to be visible. Ethan had no response. Neither did my parents because it was true. All of it. I'm happy for your successes. I continued. Genuinely. But don't resent me for finally achieving mine. The rest of dinner was quiet. Ethan left early. My parents apologized again, but words felt insufficient. That night, Ethan texted, "You're right.
I'm sorry.
Not just for the boutique thing. For everything. For years of taking you for granted." I read it 3 times. Then I responded, "Thank you." Just that. Thank you. Because forgiveness takes time, and I wasn't there yet. The Pearl District location opened in February to massive success. The line stretched around 2 blocks. Brianna and 3 other influencers covered it live. Local TV stations sent reporters. This time, I wasn't nervous. I was confident. I knew exactly what I was doing. Julia had arranged everything perfectly. Marcus had created a space even more stunning than the first. Sam had trained 3 new employees. Vincent stood in the corner watching everything with proud tears. My parents came, bringing Ethan reluctantly. He walked through the new boutique slowly, taking in every detail. "This is incredible," he admitted. "Really incredible. You've built something special." "Thank you. I mean it. I was wrong. About everything. You're not just successful. You're talented. You're brilliant. You saw something nobody else saw and made it real." I appreciated those words more than he knew. That evening, as we locked up after a 16-hour opening day, my phone rang. Unknown number. "Ms. Chen? This is Andrea Wallace from Nordstrom Corporate. We've been following your boutique's success. We'd like to discuss a partnership opportunity. Would you be interested in bringing velvet and steel to our stores nationally?" I nearly dropped the phone. Nordstrom. National distribution. Everything I dreamed about and more. "Yes," I said. "I'm very interested." I hung up shaking. Julia screamed when I told her. Sam jumped up and down. Marcus cried. "You did it," Vincent said quietly. "You really did it." That night, I sat alone in the Pearl District boutique, surrounded by racks of beautiful clothes and the smell of success. I thought about that dinner table 6 months ago. Ethan's laughter. My parents' doubt. My own humiliation. I thought about the voice that had whispered, "You can't." And I smiled because I had. The Nordstrom deal took months to negotiate. They wanted exclusive designs. I wanted to maintain my brand identity. We compromised, creating a capsule collection specifically for their stores while keeping my boutiques independent. By summer, velvet and steel appeared in 15 Nordstrom locations across the country. Sales exploded. I hired a full-time staff. I opened a 3rd boutique in Seattle. I was exhausted, exhilarated, and more fulfilled than I'd ever imagined possible. Ethan called one evening. "Can I ask you something?"
Sure.
"Do you have room in your company for me? Not as a boss or anything. Just an employee. I want to learn from you." I thought about it carefully. Months ago, I'd have said yes immediately, desperate for family approval. Now I understood power dynamics better. "Why?" I asked. "Because I'm tired of my safe job. I'm tired of watching you build something amazing while I stay stagnant. I want to be part of something that matters." "You want to work for me? The person you said had no business sense."
"Yes.
"And I deserve whatever mockery you want to throw at me. I earned it." I considered the offer. Having Ethan work for me would be the ultimate role reversal. But it would also be complicated, possibly uncomfortable, definitely risky. "Let me think about it," I said. I discussed it with Vincent, who had become my most trusted advisor. "What does your gut say?" he asked. "That he's sincere, but also that I don't owe him anything." "Correct on both counts. So the question is, do you want him there?" Not because of family obligation, but because he'd genuinely add value. I didn't know the answer yet. The local TV station wanted to do a feature story about my journey. They'd followed my success from the beginning and wanted to create a longer, more personal piece. I agreed to the interview. We filmed at both Portland locations, showing the boutiques, talking to customers, interviewing staff. Then the reporter asked, "What kept you going when people doubted you?" I thought about Ethan's laughter, about sitting in my car crying, about midnight hours of research and planning, about every moment I'd wanted to quit. I kept going because quitting would have proven them right, I said. And I couldn't live with that. So I chose to prove them wrong instead. Any advice for others facing similar doubt? I looked directly at the camera. Never underestimate someone who refuses to quit. Mockery says more about the mocker than the mocked. And success is the best response to people who laugh at your dreams. The segment aired during prime time. It went viral immediately. Within days, it had millions of views. Comments flooded in from people sharing their own stories of overcoming skeptics. Ethan texted after watching. I saw it. You didn't mention me by name, but I know I was the person laughing. Thank you for that mercy. I didn't respond immediately. Later that night, I called him. You can work at the original Portland location, I said, but not as management, as floor staff. You'll help customers, stock shelves, and learn retail from the ground up. I'll take it, he said immediately.
And Ethan?
If you mock anyone's dreams ever again, I'll fire you. Family or not. Understood. He started the following week. Watching my brother fold clothes and help customers was surreal. Watching him do it without complaint was even stranger. But he worked hard. He learned. He asked questions. And slowly, reluctantly, I started forgiving him. A year after opening my first boutique, my family gathered for my 28th birthday. Mom made my favorite cake. Dad gave me a thoughtful gift. Ethan brought flowers and a card that simply said, "Thank you for not giving up." Over dinner, we talked about the business's future. The Nordstrom partnership was expanding. I'd been approached about a possible reality show following boutique owners. Book publishers wanted me to write about my journey. How does it feel? Mom asked. Being successful beyond what you imagined? Validating, I admitted. But also heavy. Now I have employees depending on me. Customers trusting my taste. Investors believing in my vision. The stakes are higher. Dad spoke carefully. We owe you an apology. A real one. We should have believed in you from the start. Yes, I agreed. You should have. But your doubt taught me to believe in myself. So maybe it worked out how it needed to. Ethan was quiet most of dinner. As we cleaned up, he pulled me aside. I've been thinking about that night. The dinner when I laughed at you. Don't. No, let me say this. I was cruel. Not just skeptical, but deliberately mean. I wanted you to give up because your ambition made me feel small. That's not on you. That's on me.
And I'm sorry.
Really, truly sorry. I know, I said. I forgive you. And I meant it. Finally, genuinely meant it. Your success didn't just prove me wrong, Ethan continued. It inspired me. I'm starting my own business now. Nothing as ambitious as yours yet, but something. Because you showed me that family mockery doesn't define you. Your response to it does. I hugged him. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you too. Always was under the jealousy. Just took me too long to admit it. The second anniversary of Velvet and Steel's original location was a massive celebration. We threw a party at the Portland boutique with customers, staff, investors, and media. Brianna emceed, interviewing people about their experiences with the boutique. Customer after customer shared stories about finding confidence through our clothes, about feeling seen and valued. One woman cried as she explained how buying her first Velvet and Steel dress helped her through divorce. Another talked about wearing our clothes to job interviews that changed her career. You're not just selling fashion, Vincent told me that night. You're selling transformation. That's why people connect so deeply. The party ended with a toast. I stood before everyone, glass raised. 2 years ago, someone laughed at this dream. 1 year ago, I opened the store for the first time. Today, we're celebrating not just business success, but something bigger. We're celebrating every person who was told you can't and decided to prove the world wrong. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for believing when others doubted. Thank you for showing up. Applause filled the boutique. Ethan caught my eye and mouthed, "Thank you. For everything. For proving him wrong. For forgiving him. For showing him a different way to live." That night, after everyone left, I sat alone in the boutique one last time. Tomorrow, I'd sign papers opening my 4th location. Next month, I'd launch an online subscription box. Next year, who knows? But tonight, I just sat in the quiet, remembering the girl who'd run from that dinner table crying. Remembering her notebook full of dreams. Remembering her determination. She'd done it. Against every odd, every doubt, every laugh. She'd done it. Ethan's attempt to get more involved in the business came 6 months later. He'd been working floor staff diligently, learning every aspect of retail. Now he wanted more responsibility. "I've been thinking about inventory management systems," he said during a staff meeting. "I have ideas that could improve efficiency." I listened politely, but quickly realized his ideas ignored the boutique's aesthetic and customer experience. He was thinking numbers, not narrative. Profit, not purpose. "That won't work," I said carefully. "It's too corporate. Too impersonal. But it would increase margins by..." "Ethan, this boutique succeeded because we prioritize experience over efficiency. Your system would undermine that." He pushed back harder, arguing his points. I remained firm. He grew frustrated. "Why ask my opinion if you're going to ignore it?" he finally snapped. "I'm not ignoring it. I'm evaluating it and finding it doesn't fit our brand." "Your brand," he corrected bitterly. "You mean your ego." The room went silent. Staff members looked uncomfortable. Sam stared at the floor. Julia's eyebrows rose. "Excuse me? You've let success go to your head. You can't take criticism anymore. Everything has to be your way." I stood calmly. "This meeting is over. Ethan, my office."
Now.
Once alone, I faced him. "Do you know why your system won't work? Because you're stubborn? Because you're thinking like an accountant, not a brand builder. You see numbers. I see experiences. You want efficiency. I want magic. That's why you work for me and not the other way around." His face flushed. "So, I'm just supposed to follow orders? Never contribute? You're supposed to understand that working here is a privilege, not a right. You don't get to come into my company and act like you know better. You were wrong about everything. Remember?" I apologized. Apologies don't erase history. They just acknowledge it. "You laughed at this business. Now you work here. Show some humility." He stared at me, anger and hurt warring in his expression. Then he left without another word. He didn't show up for his next shift. Or the one after that. Ethan quit via email. "I can't work somewhere I'm not valued. Thanks for the opportunity. Good luck." I read it twice, feeling disappointed, but not surprised. He'd learned to respect my success, but not to accept his role in my company. The business continued thriving without him. We opened our 5th location. The Nordstrom partnership expanded internationally. I was featured in Forbes' 30 Under 30 list. Reality show offers poured in. My parents called constantly now, proud but somewhat bewildered by my success. They'd created a narrative where they'd always believed in me, rewriting history to make themselves look better. I didn't correct them. What was the point? 6 months later, Ethan showed up at the original boutique. I was restocking the front display when he walked in, looking tired. "Hey," he said quietly. "Hey. I've been thinking.
About everything. About me."
I was wrong. Again. I waited. "You offered me a gift by letting me work here. I treated it like I deserved it. I didn't. And when you told me that, I couldn't handle it." He paused. "I'm not asking for my job back. I just wanted to apologize. Really apologize. For the dinner, for the doubt, for my ego. All of it." "Okay," I said. "Thank you. You're amazing, Marlene. What you built, who you've become. I'm genuinely proud. No jealousy this time. Just pride." He left, and I returned to the display. Outside the window, people walked past, some glancing in, some stopping to admire. I straightened a dress, positioned a handbag, adjusted the lighting. Every detail mattered. Every choice was intentional. Because this wasn't just a boutique. It was proof. Proof that mockery doesn't define you. Proof that determination beats doubt. Proof that the person laughing loudest often underestimates the person they're laughing at. Ethan had learned that lesson. So had my parents. So had everyone who'd ever dismissed me. I stepped back, surveying my work. The display was perfect. Just like everything else I'd built from nothing but dreams and stubbornness. My phone buzzed. Vincent. Saw the Forbes piece. Knew you'd make it. Proud doesn't begin to cover it. I smiled and returned to work, surrounded by silk and steel, softness and strength. Velvet dreams turned into unstoppable reality. They'd laughed. I'd won. And that, I realized, was the only ending that ever mattered.